it's Iona, your confidence and empowerment coach. So I hope you're doing well, my friends. Today's topic is all about how to help others when they're going through a difficult or contrasting experience with confidence, feeling confident. We're going to do a very short, very speedy meditation. So we're going to sit with your back straight and your feet on the floor if you can. If you're lying down, that's also fine. And we're going to place your hands facing upright to start, and then we're going to move them into the center of the chest, okay? So I want you to take a nice deep breath in and out, and close your eyes. And again. And I want you to just feel the sensation of the air coming into your nostrils and out of your mouth. Feel that sensation. Allow noticing that sensation to bring you into the present moment. Allow noticing that sensation to distract you from any other thoughts that you might have at the moment, okay? If it's safe for you to take a moment and meditate with me, then please do. And if it's not, then don't. Come back later on and do this. Practice, because it is very good for helping you to feel relief in the moment and also to feel better in general, right? When we take ourselves out of what's going on around us and into the present moment, okay? So now I'm going to get you to place your hand, either one hand or both hands, in the center of your chest and take a nice deep breath in and out. What this does is it helps take you out of your critical thinking mind and into your feeling body, into your emotional body, which is a very good, safe place to be, okay? So, breathe in through your nose, notice that sensation of the air coming into your body, and out through your mouth. It's safe for you to be here with me in this moment. I'm giving you permission to be in this moment with me. I'm giving you permission to allow all other thoughts, distractions and things to not bug you or bother you at this moment. Anything that is important that you think of right now, allow it to come back in after. Allow it to come back in after this video and this meditation is complete, okay? And we're going to just, as we're breathing, we're going to just allow the weekend and last week to be in the past. We don't need it in this current moment moving forward. If anything not so good happened at the weekend or last week, we cannot go back and change it. All we can really do is learn from it and bring in that information that we have learned into the present moment. Not the situation, but what we learned from the situation into the present moment. And we're going to release anything that happened last week, anything that happened at the weekend. It's not beneficial to drag it into this present moment with us right now. So we're just going to let it go and we're going to release it. It's safe for you to release it, okay? We're also going to set an intention for this week. We're going to set the intention that the rest of your week is going to be a good week. It's going to be a fantastic week. It's going to be one of those weeks where you think, wow, this is awesome. Wow, I cannot believe this is happening. This is so freaking cool. Wow, this is working out perfectly. If it's safe for you to say out loud, if you're in a place where you can say it out loud, or if it's better, if you feel better saying into your head, then say, this week is working out for me. This week is working out for me. This week works out for me. This week works out perfectly for me. This week is working out perfectly for me. And you may feel a little bit of, oh, when you say that, either out loud or in your head. And that's because you may feel like this week can't work out perfectly for you or won't work out perfectly for you. But I would like you to play with the feeling that it's working out perfectly, that everything that you need to do or everything that you need to happen this week works out in the most perfect, easy, effortless, wonderful way. That this week is perfect, easy, effortless, and wonderful. And if there's anything that you're not looking forward to doing this week or looking forward to experiencing this week, I want you to say, it all works out perfectly for me. It's working out perfectly. It's working out perfectly. No matter what happens, it's going to work out perfectly. It's working out perfectly. It's already working out perfectly for me. It's working out perfectly for me. And tap into that, how that feels. Does that feel like relief when you say that? Or does it feel like you can't believe it to be true? Does it feel like it's too far-fetched? Like you don't have any evidence that it will work out. So therefore, how can you believe it to be working out, right? So I would like you to think about a time when it has worked out for you. When something has worked out perfectly for you. Something that was unexpected. Something that worked out unexpectedly amazing for you. Take a moment and just really think and feel into that moment when that happened for you. Something that worked out perfectly for you. If it can work out perfectly for you then why can it not work out for you perfectly again? Even if it's something different, you experienced a circumstance, you experienced something that worked out perfectly in the past. So that means that you have the ability to see things working out for you perfectly again in the future, right? I would like to invite you this week to say that as an affirmation to yourself. If you saw my post yesterday about affirmations, that you'll know that your perspective and your belief, like one that doesn't feel so good, one that you believe to be true, like nothing works out for me and I'm not good enough and this can't work and things like that. You only believe them to be true because you've practiced them so much and you are making decisions and taking action based on those belief systems, right? And that's what's showing up in your life. I would like you to try and play with this week, moving forward, the perspective and the belief that it is working out for you perfectly. Everything is working out perfectly for you. I would like you to practice saying and tapping into, it's always working out perfectly for me. This works out perfectly for me. It's working out perfectly for me. Whatever one feels the most comfortable and safe and exciting for you to say, it's working out perfectly for me. It's working out perfectly for me. That's a good one that I like to use. It's working out perfectly for me. Because then in the moments when you feel like you could easily go back into the old belief system, the old synapses, the old neural pathway that you've just been firing and wiring for so long that it's that strong muscle. It's only that way because you practiced it for so long. And that is your belief, that's your perspective, that's your truth. How do you think it would feel if something was to say something unexpected or something, a contrasting experience, an unwanted experience was to happen, but you kept the phrase, it's working out perfectly for me, it's working out perfectly for me, in your mind and in your body as this thing happens that seems like it's not working out for you or that it can't work out for you. I'll bet that when you keep that in your mind and in your body, that you won't feel as stressed out. You might not feel as anxious or triggered. You might feel better throughout whatever it is that comes up. And in the moment, you might think that, oh my gosh, how can I believe that this works out? But no matter what happens, it's going to work out, right? So that's just something that I would like to invite you to practice and play with this week. So one last time, take a nice deep breath in and out, and say out loud or in your head, it's working out perfectly for me. It's working out perfectly for me. It's working out so freaking perfectly for me. Insert swear word if you would like. Feel free. Beautiful. Okay, so tonight I'm going to talk really briefly about how to assist others who are experiencing a contrasting or difficult experience, time, problems and things like that. And I feel like the best thing that you can do for someone who is experiencing a contrasting or unwanted circumstance or experience, when someone is having a bad day or feeling down or feeling depressed or feeling unhappy or having a moment, an emotional moment, the best thing that you can do for another person is to ask them what they need, right? So many of us have experienced situations where we've not felt great and have someone coming in and telling us what they think we should do, like unsolicited advice, or telling us things like, you'll be fine, it'll be fine, like being dismissive about it. And that, as much as it comes from a place of love and, you know, can come from a place of compassion, it can be quite unhelpful for the person who is experiencing the difficult, contrasting, unwanted experience and circumstance, right? So as difficult as it is to observe someone who is going through a tough time or a difficult time or an unwanted circumstance or an unwanted experience. Hi, Anita. The best thing that we can do for another person who's going through that time is to ask them what they need from us, what they need to feel better in this moment. And sometimes they might say, I don't know what I need. Yes, crown is on. Sometimes they might say, I don't know what I need. Sometimes they might be so in the emotion of it that they don't know what they need. And that's okay, that's perfect. Because then you can say, that's fine, that's great, that's perfect. I'm here for when you're ready and you need something, I'm here. When people are going through difficult, contrasting, unwanted circumstances, experiences, emotions, it can be, especially if we have, we really just want to help, it can be unhelpful for us to give advice or say, if I were you, I would do this, right? That can be quite unhelpful and kind of takes away from the person who's going through the unwanted circumstance. It can almost be quite dismissive. It can feel quite dismissive. So I feel like the best thing that we can do for others is to really show them and help them to understand that we are there for them. Of course, we are there for them with boundaries, right? Remember that boundaries are safe and healthy to practice. We are there for them for whatever they need, whenever they need it, right? With boundaries, okay? Remember that. Because we can't be everything to everyone, and we can't people please, and we can't run around making sure that other people are happy before we are, right? We have to make sure we're okay first, right? We have to fill our cups up first before we pour to others. So asking questions to those who are going through a difficult, unwanted, contrasting experience or circumstance or emotion, asking what they need, how we can help them. And if they don't know what it is that they need, then us just being there, sometimes silently, and holding space for them while they go through what it is they need to go through. Okay? I just got a bit of deja vu there. Weird. Fun. I love deja vu. So you being there, holding space for them. What do I mean by holding space? Hi Tanvir, how are you doing? Long time no see. So what do I mean by holding space for someone? You're literally doing that. You're sitting with someone, not distracting them unless they requested to be distracted. You're there with the person. You are feeling, we're not feeling how they're feeling, even though we might be feeling sad for them. We're not pandering, right, to where they are, because we can't help people. We can only help people feel better by us feeling better ourselves, right? Which is why self-care and inner work is so important. We can't help others be well by being sick, right? So it can be distressing to watch others go through something difficult. But with us holding the space for them to go through the emotions of whatever it is that they need to go through without it triggering us is very, very helpful. Okay? And this again can be challenging, especially if they're going through something that we've been through previously, right? It might bring up emotions for us. It might trigger us into thinking like, oh God, I remember when that happened to me, or projecting onto them, right? These are things that we want to try and not do, is project onto others, especially with things like what we think we should do or what we think that we would do if we were in their shoes, unless they ask for us unless they ask our advice, unless the person says, what did you do in this situation, right? Then we have the permission, and then we have the moment to then say, well, this is what I did. But we're allowing them to feel what they need to feel and do what they need to do, right? And allowing them to be emotional, right? Emotions are extremely helpful. Emotions are the body's internal guidance system. Emotions are energy. Everything is energy. Emotions are energy. And when someone is crying, when someone is being emotional, that's energy that's moving through their body. Telling someone to stop crying is them suppressing that energy and disallowing that energy to move around the body, okay? And energy wants to move. Energy never wants to stay still. Energy is always moving all of the time. Stagnant energy is not beneficial, is what I would call it. Stagnant energy is not beneficial. So that's why it's so important to ask what they need. What do you need? What do you need me to do? What would you what do you need? What can I do for you? Right? And that having that compassion and holding the space for them to feel and go through whatever it is that they need to feel and go through is, I feel like, the best place to confidently help others who are going through unwanted, contrasting, difficult circumstances and emotions, right? And again, it can be difficult to see someone, it can be very difficult to observe someone in a difficult place emotionally and physically, right? When they're going through something they're really struggling with, right? But also, that's part of their journey, that's part of their path. and you cannot fix it for them. We cannot fix things for other people. We cannot change other people. We can only change ourselves, right? We can't even fix ourselves because really there is nothing to fix, right? We're always going through the next stage and working on the next part, and we're constantly changing and transforming, right? So we can't fix people. We can't solve other people's problems. All we can do is, and this is a big one, right, for empaths out there, especially any empaths who have had a relationship with someone who is narcissistic, because a narcissist will always want you to fix their problems, right, most of the time. But we can't fix other people. And when you are an empath who's grown up around narcissists, you may feel like you are constantly needing to help others to fix them, because that you've been conditioned to do this, right? But it's not your job. It's not your job. It's not your job to make other people happy. It's not your job to fix other people. It's not your job to change other people. It's your job. Guess what your job is? Guess what your job is? If you know what I'm going to say, type an answer in the chat box, in the comment box. Do you know what your job is? Your job on this world, on this plane, in this reality, in this planet, in this world. Who can you change, right? Who can you transform? Who can you really help? Who are you really here to help? Yes, we're here to help others, yep, but we can't help others until what? We can't help other people until what? Until we've helped ourselves, right? We can't help others until we've helped ourselves, and we can't change others. We can only, I don't want to use the word change ourselves, right? I want to use the word transform ourselves, because again, I don't really believe that anyone really needs to change. People can do whatever they want to do, right? People do whatever they want to do, whatever they feel inspired to do, right? I believe that you are beautiful and perfect just as you are, right? And if you want to get better, hi Perul, how are you doing? If you want to get better, then that's awesome. I celebrate that, but I also celebrate you just as you are, right? So when we've experienced difficult relationships in the past, we might want to jump in and like fix things for people, or like take over. You know, we might want to jump in and take over and try and fix a difficult situation for someone, right? But it's their experience and it's their journey to go through. All we can do as friends, as loved ones, right, is hold space for them energetically and emotionally, and ask them what they need to feel better in the moments, okay? Allow them to be emotional, right? Emotions are energy, energy needs to move, okay? So allowing people to be where they are. Hi Chelsea. Allowing people to be exactly where they are is perfect, right? Everybody is exactly where they need to be, especially if someone is at all times, always, right? But think back to a time when you had a difficult, contrasting, unwanted situation, circumstance, experience, right? I'll bet that you grew from that experience, right? I'll bet that, yeah, okay, perhaps it was difficult at the time, but and many, many difficult things are really, really hard to deal with at the time. But as we move through them, we can grow. It's the path of least resistance, not the path of no resistance, right? As Abraham Hicks says, right? So whatever path you're going down, we're always going to experience difficult circumstances, difficult experiences. But once we start to understand our emotions as being a guidance system, we then stop trying to fix ourselves and other people and just go with the flow. And at the start of this live, I did a little meditation for us. If you've just joined, go back and watch that meditation on the recording that I'm going to post up afterwards, because on that meditation I spoke the affirmation that things are working out perfectly for me, right? And if you have the perspective, if you've gained a new perspective that whatever happens in life, everything works out perfectly for you, and you're experiencing a difficult circumstance, but you have the mindset and the perspective and the belief that everything works out perfectly for you, then we can actually manage the difficult circumstances a little bit easier than we would if we were to have the perspective that nothing's working out and only bad things happen to us, and this is typical, and of course this happened to me, and why, and of course, and it's always me, and all those kind of perspectives and statements which I absolutely used to believe. Like, why me? Why does this always happen to me? Of course I'm having a bad day. It's one of those days. Of course it had to happen to me. Of all the luck I had to, typical. It's typical. All of those perspectives and all of those sayings, right? Well, I figured out that those weren't doing me any good at all, and I wasn't having a very fun life experience, right? So I decided to change my perspective to one that was more beneficial, which is everything always works out perfectly, right? Even when it's like the crap's hit the fan and I'm like, oh God, this is a bit stressful, isn't it? But you know what? Everything always works out perfectly. It's always working out perfectly for me. It's working out perfectly for me. It ends up fine. Usually it ends up fine most of the time, every time. It ends up fine. It ends up perfect. It ends up great. It ends up amazing. That's a good thing as well, to remind your friends and your loved ones that everything works out for them. And you can, obviously, when they're ready and they want to feel better, because sometimes when we're experiencing contrasting circumstances and difficult experiences, the best place for us to be is in the pits, like in the pits, in the negative feelings, in the bad feelings. We need to be there in order to move through them, right? And that's why it's important to allow people to feel what they need to feel, allow people to be where they need to be, and offer them your support, your help, your whatever they need. Like, I'm here, whatever you need to do. You've got this, I trust you. And when they're ready for something better, when they're ready to move up the emotional scale, when they're ready to feel better, then you can say to them, remember that everything works out for you. Remember, you have proof, you have evidence that everything works out for you. This thing worked out for you in the past, and then you can just, ask them if they can remember a thing that worked out for them in the past, and that's your evidence. There you go, you've got evidence that things work out for you, right? So I hope that was helpful for you for tonight's wee live. So this Thursday I have my Upgrade Your Self-Confidence Masterclass. It is free, link in my bio. It's fun, it's free, it's awesome. Last week I had a record number of participants at the workshop, at the masterclass. It was unfreaking-believable. The energy was amazing, it was fantastic, it was so much fun. It's free, it's every Thursday at 6 p.m. UK time. You can click the link in my bio to join us. Book your place on the Eventbrite website, and then you will receive emails with the Zoom link about an hour beforehand on Thursday. So come and join us for that. It's excellent. I would say that because I run it, but I'm very proud of it. It's very, very fun. It's very enlightening, and you will upgrade your self-confidence by the end of the workshop. Thank you for joining me on this live, my friends. I hope that was helpful for you. Please come back into the live and leave me a comment, and let me know if you enjoyed the meditation as well. And remember, if you've just joined me, go back and watch the start of the live, because I have the meditation there for you. Everything works out perfectly for you this week, right? Remember that. Everything works out perfectly for you. You have evidence of it happening previously, so therefore that means that everything works out perfectly for you. Okay? No matter what's happening, no matter what you're experiencing, everything always works out perfectly for you. Have a beautiful rest of your week. And I will see you on Thursday in the masterclass. And I will see you back here for a live at some point this week. Yay! Have a beautiful week, my friends. Lots of love.